You've got questions?
We've got answers.
Tune in Tuesdays at noon on Facebook Live and Insta Live, where we will be hosting a variety of subjects with our community experts.
Hi, I'm Dana, and I'm going to be talking with the brilliant Jillian and Michelle at beautifulself.org, who are just amazing people. I've got stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I've been thriving with it for 5 years. I just celebrated 5 years and been dealing with cancer for 12. And I am brutally honest, brutally honest about menopause and the decisions that I've made and the dark and the light and what we need to do and how we can see this as our gift, which isn't always easy. But I want to have real conversations and not sugarcoat it. So I hope that you join us, and I can't wait to get to know all of you and support you.
See you there.
I'm going to just, I know we're live and I'm going to look for this on Facebook in a minute, but what I'll just go ahead is say hi everyone and welcome to Tip Tuesday. It's Michelle. I was going to say I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jillian.
I'm losing the plot. It's Michelle and Jillian, and we are so excited today. We're actually giddy today because we have a very, very special guest, somebody that is just so near and dear to us. And I can't wait for you to hear everything she has to say. She is the amazing, the incomparable, the fantastic TV personality, writer of inspirational blog, This Moment, badass love warrior. You're a love warrior. You are a love warrior. Our friend, Dana Bledsoe. I can't, anyway, we're going to get to you in a minute, Miss
Can you
Dana.
write my obituary? That's really good.
Not with you. Here she goes. So before we let Dana wild, before we let her out of that little box first, I do want to say that Dana is a 5-year metaviver who has been beating cancer now for, it's 11 years, I believe, right, Dana?
We're heading on to 12, actually.
Heading on to 12. Okay, this woman is a force of nature, a dynamic spirit that we're so lucky to call friend, and I can't wait for her to chat with our community. But before we get to Dana, Michelle, do we have any housekeeping we have to do?
Well, I do definitely want to share with the group, and I'm going to go right to it. On our website, we are empowering breast cancer survivors, and it is the month of October, and we have a lot of Shop for a Cause options of ways that you can help us get to our goals. And if you go to our website, we have our Shop for a Cause page, and we have 2 very special promotions right there. Here we go. It's loading very slow, so I'll just talk about them while it's loading. One is the Sexiest Beauty right here. $10 off of every single product purchase comes back to Beautiful Self. So there's from lip glosses to skincare to lipsticks. Thank you, Heather Fink. $10 off of every product is a huge donation from your company. And then we also have at Kaliata Jewelry. Kaliata is a survivor of breast cancer. She has an amazing shop in Warwick, New York. And she also has a huge online business with online jewelry. And she has an intention collection where 20% of every bracelet comes back to Beautiful Self. And she pays it forward by when you purchase a bracelet, not only does 20% come back to Beautiful Self, but she donates a bracelet to another survivor. So thank you, Kaliata, as well. Thank you so much. That's all on our website. So please check it out. And the links will also be in this show once the show is over.
So are we ready?
How about that?
I love it. I'm trying to get, here we are. All right, hold on. I'm going to put all right, the crew is all jumping on. Are we ready, Michelle?
We are ready. So let's
ask
Dana.
Yay! Okay, Miss Dana, we're going to turn this all over to you. So let me first say that you and I have been friends a long time, but we haven't necessarily super connected in a while. So I'm really excited that you're here. So thank you so much for joining the community and jumping in, and tell us, what have you been up to these days? That's the first thing. What are you up to, girl?
I survive like everybody else.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, dealing with the homeschooling and really, what have I been up to? Really, this has been a journey of going really inward, dealing with a lot of what's going in the mind and trying to slow down my mind. It has been a constant, what is it that I want? Where do I want to live? What do I want to do? What do I want for our family? What is it that I need to go back and look at that's not working? And I'm really in kind of like the shits of it, really. It was really just diving deep down. I love to travel and I love to keep going. And so I sort of had asked the universe in a very big way, help me stay present as a mother, help me stay present within myself, help me just sit still. And boy, did it answer, because then COVID hit.
Well, that was the answer right there, right? I think for a lot of us.
Be careful what you work with.
So true.
That it's so easy to deflect all the time. And we think that we're sitting with who we are and our stuff that we need to deal with, childhood. I know everybody rolls their eyes with that, but these are memories. These are memories that start coming up. And to sit with cancer, to sit with what is going on with that, what does that mean exactly, to sit with if you're unhappy and how do you change it, I have to sit with it. I have to sit with it. I've had no choice. I still find ways to deflect, but I've been forced to sit in this space, which has not been pretty. It got very, very ugly. And I don't like to sugarcoat anything, because what I hate is when you read books about how everybody found the end, but they never told you about the middle and all the, and why they're, and what it's like to actually be in it, and to be in it was kind of like living my own mental and emotional hell, where I really didn't know who I was anymore, which is kind of like a rebirthing, right? We're always living and dying, but in order to kind of break free into maybe who you might be, or this new birth of yourself as a woman, a lot of other things have to die off on the way, and that's painful. It's painful.
So I want to ask you, Dana, for anyone that doesn't know you, I mean, I know so many people know you, but let's say that they don't know you. I want to say, outside of our community, and I'm saying hi to Kathy and Victoria and some of the gals from Karen of our tribe that have joined on. Yeah, they're wonderful. And a lot of people outside of our community don't even know what metastatic breast cancer is. So would you be so kind as to kind of tell us in a nutshell, for those who don't know, what is metastatic breast cancer? And how long have you been living with it?
Sure, yeah. So, well, I've actually been dealing with cancer for 12 years. And 5 years ago, I was re-diagnosed. I was called the golden girl, because they said, oh, you've got a good looking cancer and it's only 1B and it won't come back. And you're the type of patient that we absolutely just love to have. And against all my wishes and my soul and my heart, and the man that I work with and for said, please, 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 please do not do chemotherapy. And this is everybody's individual thing, but if you do this, your cancer is going to come back quite aggressively. And I had lived on tamoxifen, which I really think should be outlawed. I think it's just evil. I think it's a horrible drug. All the doctors, if you really do talk to them, the ones that don't prescribe it anymore, they know exactly how violent it is. It's a violation on women, I feel. Anyway, I went off of that, and then I went to go get my mammogram sonogram, and they found it in my lymph nodes 5 years ago. So, when the doctor walks into the room, they're like, we'll be right back. And I'm like, oh, I'm so
we all, yeah, that look.
that look. So he walks in with the manila folder, and I went, oh, just shoot it straight. I'm such a straight shooter. And he goes, Dana, we need a biopsy. And I said, why don't you just tell me? He's like, we need a biopsy, and we need a biopsy now. So 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, which means that it has spread. It's stage 4. So it's metastatic. When it's stage 4, you're at the last stage. There ain't no stage 5. It's in my lymph nodes. It's in 4 places in my spine, and it's in my left hip bone. And as you can see, I do not sit here and feel sorry for myself. And I do the whole way through, not that I avoid it, and I've certainly dealt with a lot of pain, and sometimes I do try to avoid it, but whenever I go into hospital or to see the doctors, or, you know, I just feel I need to bring joy. I need to bring joy.
You bring light and joy and energy to any room you go into, even if it's a little virtual space. It's like ping, 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 ping. Like you're amazing.
You feel better.
It's all that, yeah. And I do have a lot of questions for you, but there is one thing, because we do have some metastatic girls in the group.
Yes.
The president of our board is metastatic, Dana. And I think that first of all, you've been living for 5 years with metastatic, and I want to go deeper, but that is such an amazing number. And I don't think people outside of the community understand what a great number that is, and how, like, you're just living, you look radiant, and you're fabulous, and you're just a beacon of hope. So can you explain to anyone who doesn't know why 5 years is it's a great number? And that I know you're going to keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
It's an even better number because I have done 0 treatment. I've refused. They never offered chemo. And I said, well, I just want to let you know that I will never sit in your chair again. I'm not against anyone making this decision. Please do not get me wrong. I had to go very, very deep into my own heart, into my own soul, and ask my spirit, my body, my mind, what is it that you want? And from the outset, I just said, I'm doing this holistically. I'm doing this spiritually. I am doing this through food. I will not take your drugs anymore. And so they've called me a little bit of a miracle. They said, we've never actually seen this. I'm hoping I can get on the cover of Time magazine.
Yes, I want to see your face on Time.
And Oprah, because if I can make it to 10 years or whatever, right? They've given me 8 to 10 years. And if I can make it that long with 0 drugs, 0 treatment, then and I was on the Tamron Hall show, and they just said, you know, how did you come about making this choice? And it's to each of its own choice. I just don't want women to be living in this fear, and that this is your only option. I desperately want women to get all the options and to marry the two, the conventional with the alternative. But why isn't alternative paid for? Why is it not covered? And this is why women are scared into treatments, right? Because you are shocked, you are a deer in the headlights, you don't know what to do, especially if you've got children. You're like, oh my God, I would do anything to survive. And we're not given a choice. And if you do not take their recommendation, they make you sign a paper saying that you have refused treatments, or it has nothing to do with us. They don't make you sign a paper saying if you have chemo and the chemo kills you anyway. But I'm not against chemo. What I am for is that every single woman is given a possibility, a myriad of choices. I think that every hospital, and I go into to the Weill Cornell where I am, and I go see my doctor, and then I go sit with the women getting chemo. I don't know them, they don't know me. I want to ask them how they are. I just want to give them love, to know that they're supported. But I've talked to Weill Cornell, I've talked to other hospitals, and this maybe is my mission, is why can't you donate a room for love, for some meditation, for healthy ways of eating, for green juices to be handed out, you know, so that each woman gets a choice, right? And you know, a friend of mine did start a program where you get a passport, and that is served, but still it isn't enough. Why isn't insurance helping to pay for this so that we can all make an educated decision.
Well, insurance barely pays for even the medical, which is crazy, but that's a whole nother subject. So I just want to, okay, so let me talk to you a little bit about, it's interesting because, I remember seeing you at QVC, not knowing it was you. And that's why I remember it walked by and I was like, oh, somebody's sick. Because I'd seen, because you were bald and I didn't know it was you at the time. And then I followed suit a couple of years later with my cancer. So, and I just remember that so clearly, feeling so bad that I didn't know it was you, right? And a few years later, so my diagnosis when I was sick was stage 2B. My cancer had spread out to my lymph nodes already. So, and I want to correlate that to what you're talking about. They then put me, after I did the kitchen sink, right? Responded great. And then they put me on tamoxifen. I took it for 6 months and I said, absolutely not. And it was such a hard decision. And oh yeah, remember, I was like, it's killing me. It's killing me. I felt like I was dying from it. But here's my thing. And I love that you have said this. You are not telling anybody what to do.
No.
Everybody has to make up their own mind. It's your body. You know what? You should have options. Yeah. But when you're in the middle of the fight, right? And this is, I think, for a lot of us, when you're in the middle of the fight, and especially for a second time, what you're about to go into, how did you find that space? Because it's a belief system. Because if you only kind of believe it's going to fix you this way, or kind of believe it's going to fix you that way, it's never going to work. How did you find your solid center ground to say, this is how I'm going to do it? How did you dig deep?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the day I got the phone call in the park. It was my son's birthday and I didn't recognize the number, and it was another doctor, and she said, Dana, I hate to tell you, this was cancer and it's back and everything. And I literally, the first time I was diagnosed, I handled it really well. I actually had to go on QVC.
I remember you there.
I was there, and I was actually getting ready for a TSV. So I was like, we can do anything. This time I literally collapsed to the ground. And do you know what the words that came out of me? You won't do this to me again. Okay. You won't do this to me again. And at that point, I think I'd probably already before had made the decision, if this comes back, I was just very clear. I went to see 4 different doctors at 4 different hospitals. They all gave me kind of the timeline. They said, because it's in your spine and where it's in your spine, we can't operate. And we just have to do this. And you can get your ovaries, well, you could just take a drug. And I said, the only thing I'll do, because I don't want your drugs, the only thing that I will do is I will go ahead and you can have my ovaries. I don't need them. In fact, I said to the doctor who was taking them, put them on a chain and I'll wear them. He just sat there like this.
Yeah.
Dude, it's called humor. It's called humor.
You gotta have humor.
Get through this with humor.
Gotta get through it.
We're gonna cry. But I said, give me my ovaries. They're working. My on. Put them in it. And it's not been an easy decision. I listened. I just listened. I just never wanted to feel that way. And I made it through chemo as a trooper. But I will never forget the day when my legs collapsed and I couldn't walk, and what it did to my mind, what it did to my anger and to my rage. I would say the tamoxifen was actually worse than the chemo.
The tamoxifen was the worst.
Worse. It's the worst. And I did 5.5 years on tamoxifen and then decided to take myself off of it. And I'll just be very honest with people. It didn't bother me up until about year 4.5. At that point, I remember the rage that it caused. I remember saying, I'm going to drive my car off the road. I don't want to live anymore. And I had a life coach at the time I decided to take myself off the tamoxifen. Then I found a life coach and she said, Dana, have you ever researched tamoxifen? And I said, no, I don't research this stuff because it's too much information. I just have to listen to my body, my spirit. She said, I'm going to research it for you. found over thousands of letters that had been written by women, all that had the exact same symptoms. I remember saying to my husband, is this who I really am? I don't know who I am anymore. And she sent me 40 letters of women, Dusty, that's my dog, sorry.
Okay. We
who
love Dusty.
we love Dusty, who'd all said the same thing. And I've seen too many cases with cancer coming back after so many treatments of drugs, the brain breaking down, the physical body breaking down, the mental breaking down, that I just said, I'm not going to do it. It's not for me. It's not for this soul, this spirit. It has not been easy, especially at first I was very, very strict. I was juicing and I was vegan and I was and then slowly you begin to live, right? You live, and I do what I can, and I eat really well. Am I on a whole myriad of supplements and stuff? To be honest with you, no. I drink our Paracone drink. That was not a plug, by the way. I do juice. I don't really like taking supplements. I do when I remember them. I probably have $1,000 worth of stuff. I tell you what I did do very religiously was I do colonic cleanses, and I go and get a colonic. And when I was re-diagnosed, I went to somebody down in Florida whom we all have to be very about, because they'll shut these people down. And I did a very serious cleanse for 2.5 weeks to just get toxins out of the body. I mean, I've gone to Brazil, I've done spiritual, and a lot of times, sometimes, you know what, it just doesn't work. You become a human being again, and you fall into that trap of being a human. You get depressed, you get really depressed. I don't see why we can't be honest about that. Because
Well,
there's nothing shameful about being depressed and sad. It means that something isn't working, and it's about to crack open, and it's about to blossom into something else. And yet the Western society has such a stigma about saying, I'm really depressed, I'm really sad. And I think we actually should embrace it, really.
My question would be, is there ever a day that you don't think about it? I mean, I'm 5 years out and I think about it every day. You're living with it. Do you think about it every day?
I think about it every day.
And how do you keep the demons at bay?
I didn't for a long time. I would say that's why this past year, especially taking out my ovaries, which I did not go into a slow, gradual menopause. One day it just hit me, and my eyesight went, my brain, I had awful brain fog. I had really bad, serious, like, I don't want to get up off this couch. I want to die. I remember calling they all know me as Miss Positive. I'm Miss Positive, but I also want to be very real with every single woman, because no doctor ever tells you this. They don't. They just say, it's in your head, it's in your head, it's in your head. Here's a little drug, it's in your head. And I think, why not be honest? Because I wish someone had for me. I mean, the only way to have the honesty is to completely experience it, right? It's like someone telling you, don't date that person, but you have to live it. So I've lived it, and I know what it's done in marriage to my children. It's altered me drastically, and I've had to really dig so deep. But at one point, to answer your question, this year, it was as if I had a black cloud of 8 years, you've got 8 years, you've got 3 more left, hanging over me at any point. And eventually, I think what I said was, okay, hi, I'm so curious about you. I'm really curious about you. Let's play. What would you like to play? And
You embraced the demon, so to call.
I think you have to embrace them. The more that we push it away, the bigger it becomes, because the mind starts creating stories.
Yeah.
In fact, if we embrace this, if you can draw it out, right? Draw it. If you can dance, I dance a lot. I dance out my emotions. What is that black cloud for me look like? What does it feel like? And now I can say, you're there again. You know what? Today, I don't really want to play. And buddy, by the way, I'm doing pretty good because I'm 5 years, right? So you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. I think it's not that we're rejecting it. I think that now I know how to talk to it in a different way.
I think it's beautiful. And I think it's so important. And I've been very honest. I'm always very, like you, I'm very transparent. And even though, again, I'm a survivor, 5 years, a lot of crap had caught up with me that I didn't deal with, right? Yeah. Shit that just really destroyed me. And I didn't want to not that I'm against Western medicine or anything like that, but I didn't want to just hit the symptoms. I wanted to hit the cause. Mm-hmm. So I started therapy last year with somebody who was amazing. And the talking out process, oh my God, it takes the cement block off your chest. And it was the best thing I ever did. So I always say, find that right person.
Did you go to a therapist who deals with cancer? Because
she came recommended from the Valley where I go. I think Valley Hospital has great care. They have a lot of alternative, which, as we're talking about, I'm so appreciative. And 2 nurses, one who is highly alternative and the other one who is not, both came at me and just said, you have to see this person. Because I flagged for anxiety and depression, which I knew I was falling into, even though it's 5 years out, it lives with you in the back of your head. So I can't even imagine being metastatic, how that, like you said, it just covers over your head constantly. Like you said, here I am. But that talking out process is huge for everyone. But this kind of leads me to my next question with you.
I want her number, by the way.
She's unbelievable. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She is. Because she's no bull crap. She's like,
good.
Come on, we're gonna, good. Right? I love her. I didn't want to say her name.
You're gonna privately text that.
I'll private. She's unbelievable.
I've never. I'm in therapy now. I think I started in April because a lot started to come up, and if I can't dance it out every day, then at least I get to talk it out.
Which, by the way, if someone who doesn't know, you have your blog and your Instagram is Dana Bledsoe This Moment. And I love sometimes because Dana will just go on a tear, and I love that you do that. Like you wake up and you're like, I'm either going to dance it off or I'm going to scream it out or I'm going to have a random conversation where I cry. And she goes off in the best way possible because I know that everyone is living with us with us right now feels the same way. But
there's no mold. All made up by society as what we're supposed to be as women, and right, we are not supposed to be the nice girl who doesn't say anything. It is great to have these feelings. You have a right to have this feeling and to have this rage. It's yours. We all have these emotions and they're a memory. And we're allowed to express them. So, I got a lot of backlash because on Instagram, it was the beginning of COVID, and I wasn't dealing with my life very well. And I went out into the water and I had a life jacket on, and I went, and several friends were really, really concerned. And I said, actually, it was just a moment. It was a moment of expression, and because I don't feel bound by things that I cannot say, I would rather say them. If you shove down emotion, it ends up as a dis-ease in your body, which ends up as cancer. Mm-hmm. And, I, in many ways, believe that in some ways I called in cancer.
I believe I did too.
Okay. Now, my therapist would probably say to you, you did not, and that's blame. And you've been taught to blame yourself. But there are certain things that you can say through your life, or by not living your true life, or by holding everybody up so much. I wasn't surprised to find out that it's in 4 places in my spine. There was no surprise when they said it's now in your spine. We think it's in your spine, and then I went to get the biopsy. It's in your spine. I looked at the doctor. My husband was throwing up. I looked at the doctor and I said, well, I'm not surprised. And he said, why? And I said, because I've spent my life holding everybody else up with my spine.
I do believe that. I absolutely believe in that. You know, they talk about people who can't speak their truth getting esophageal cancer. And I know we're all very metaphysical. Well, I have a question for you, because both survivors and metastatic survivors, right? They don't look sick anymore, right? The hair has grown back. We look healthy. And I feel like very much we are a forgotten community, survivors and stage 4 fighters. And that's why Beautiful Self has now made it a point to say survivors and stage 4 metastatic. You know, I'm not going to use the word fighter because I know you don't like it. But as a society, I feel like it's kind of like, get over it, you know? So what would you say to people who want to support us, but they don't know what to say? Because it's kind of like, well, aren't you okay now? Like, what's the, like, you look great. Move on, get over it. How would you tell people to best support us that want to support us, but don't know how?
When you've got cancer and you're diagnosed, and whether or not you're living with it, or they say that you're not living with it, you are never the same. Never. You've changed. Your mind has been changed. Your body has been changed. Your cells have been changed. It lives with it quietly. I don't think it ever leaves your mind. I've been dancing with a woman. She had cancer 25 years ago. And I asked her, she goes, I think about it every day. How could you not? How could you not? You know, I had a really good life coach who said the fallacy is that you look really healthy.
Right. But how do you tell your friends to support you and your loved ones? How do you say, no, I'm feeling like crap today? Like, do you just
say, yeah, you can say, if I had a broken leg, I'd have a cast on. So on the outside, you would see that I'm broke. A part of me is broken, right? But the inside is still breaking. It's broken. I need tenderness. I need some love. I need to not pretend that I'm strong. And I think that's a big thing with women. You have to learn how to receive. If you're the one that's always giving and people say to you, what can I do for you? You go, no, I'm good, because you're afraid that they're going to see you as weak. You're actually doing the opposite. When you open yourself to say, I need some help, you're not perceived as being weak. You're actually perceived as being very strong. It's the opposite. It is the opposite. So I would say, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to call a friend and say, I feel really lonely today. I'm scared today. I don't feel well today. And I think that you have to honor yourself. I push through a lot. And like last night, I just said, well, I can't do this anymore. And I went and got into the bath. I think you have to honor that you are forever changed. Physically, you're not going to be as strong. I mean, you may look it, you may have great muscles, but your cells are not, and your spirit is recovering. And so, you know, this time around, I made a pact with myself. I just said, I'm not going to pretend and shove away help anymore. I went like this. Absolutely. You want to come cook me meals? I would love that. I would love that. You want to come take care of my kids? I would love that. I would love that. And I still ended up doing the same thing. I had my ovaries out. They were like, you have to stay in bed for a week. And I didn't. I started booking my kids to school, and I nearly collapsed. And I told my kids, go back and get the doorman. I can't walk you to school, you know. And I think you just have to realize that vulnerability is the greatest courage.
I love that you say that. And I want to say something that happened in the community about a month ago. And it is eye opening. And I never thought like I would feel vulnerable like that. But I was ranting about health insurance. I did it like a live rant. And really it was my fault at the end of the day because I didn't read the fine print. But what happened was, interestingly enough, it wasn't that I needed the money. I could pay my insurance bill. It was principle. I was annoyed. But the community heard, oh my God, she can't pay her insurance. And I got DM after DM of people saying, I'm paying that bill for you. I'll send you a check for $1,000. And I was like, and there was a piece of me that it was almost like I felt so vulnerable and embarrassed that people would think I wanted or needed that kind of help. And I was like, but wait a minute, isn't that okay? Because what if I did? Yeah, what if?
What you didn't, the way to see that differently is what everyone was saying was, we're here to support you.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Love. I mean,
but it's weird. We immediately are like, no, I'm fine. I don't want help. I don't want help. I'm good.
Because you're a strong woman. So you want to keep up the bravado of being strong. And I did that the first time through chemo. I mean, I could tell you some stories. I was also dumped by friends because it brings up people's own immortality. In the West, we are so afraid of death. We are so afraid of death. And I've embraced it. I don't know how I'm going to feel at the time.
Right.
But I've already got what I want to do, and I believe in euthanasia, and I'm on Lives in Compassion, which is trying to fight for euthanasia in New York. We're so afraid of it. We're so afraid to say, I'm not feeling well today. I'm lonely, or, you know, why as women are we afraid? We should use our voices. Use your voice. You have a voice as a woman. I encourage you to use it every single day. People will actually love you more for it, because I do believe that people genuinely want to help you.
They do.
And when you push it away, it's okay, she's got that, but she doesn't really. So, you know.
Right. Well, I can tell you right now, we have a lot of metastatic girls in the chat, and they are just, everyone's heart. So we just, and they're all saying, yes, heart. Yeah, speak your truth, which is what you do. And that's why we wanted you here, and we love you for it. And I love the community, because you know what, that's what makes everyone feel good, is to rally. So we have time for just another couple of questions. And I want to ask you, Dana, because.
Oh, and I have something too.
Okay, absolutely. Well, do you want to go first, or do you want me to ask you first?
Do you know, I'm stage 4 metastatic, and I've never actually had someone to talk to who's also stage 4 metastatic. And
oh my gosh.
I would kind of be really nice to talk to someone.
Okay, so we have a bunch of girls in the chat. This is Dana Bledsoe. This moment, you can reach out to her on Instagram. There are at least 4 girls in the chat here that are metastatic, and they're all amazing. They've all done Beautiful Self. They're all phenomenal women.
Beautiful Self.
You've done Beautiful Self.
What you do for women, you bring out their pure essence of all the different things that they are. It's really stunning. It's stunning.
Oh, thank you so much. I was going to ask you, you did it a few years ago, and you know, this is a very dicey time with COVID, you know, and fundraising and doing, you know, and businesses are dropping and people are struggling. So it's tough for everybody right now. And, you know, Michelle and I are trying very hard to flip to virtual support until it's safe, because we have a very, you know, autoimmune, tricky tribe of people that want to come see us. And we have to go beyond, you know, the normal measures and be sure we've never put anybody at risk. So, you know, so what we're trying to do now is really prepare and get ready, and hopefully keep those doors open to keep serving more women. And I wanted to ask you why you felt Beautiful Self was important, or that it should be a charity that people choose, because I know you've done it, and I know you blew up one of your pictures.
I love that shot.
Yeah.
blew up one of them and put them on the wall. I was like, that's a little narcissistic.
No, it's not. It's fabulous.
It captured. You have an amazing way of capturing a dynamic that we don't get to release very often. And it's a dream that lives inside of us. It's that for me, it was that wild spirit that I have. And that doesn't get released a lot. And you capture a vulnerability, and you capture an innocence and a beauty where every woman who's got cancer needs to see. We need to change the way cancer looks, right? I mean, you say cancer to people, they immediately think death, bald hair, how ugly. In actual fact, I love being bald. I loved it. I felt so powerful. I felt so kick-ass. I wanted to go to a club and and there was a freedom that I found with that, because I was stripped of what it is to be the essence of a woman. And you allow women to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel that Dusty, that you've got Dusty, Dusty, that,
Dusty was in the photo shoot. It's all good.
Oh, Dusty was in the photo shoot. That's right. It was just a dream of mine to be captured like that. And I've been in the, the theater world and all that. I was never captured the way Michelle captured me.
Isn't it something?
That is something. You hold us, both of you, with open arms, with like this blanket of love, and you allow things to move through us. And then you are just silently there capturing it. And what woman with cancer wouldn't want to have a photograph when you are revealing all your essence, whether it's for yourself, whether it's to leave for your family so that they see you at this point when, this is what annoys me a little bit, is when people think, oh, it's a makeover session. No, it's not a makeover session. And we can all paint our bodies and do wild things, and I've done that too, and that's fun. But to be allowed to be you and all the different variables of you as a woman, Michelle and Jillian capture that. They capture your spirit. They capture your spirit.
Oh, we love it. And because there's a great understanding of survivor support, and the fact is true. And you said it before, we are fundamentally different. Fundamentally, cells have changed. Everything is different. You'll never be who you were before. So you better move on from that, because you will crack and break if you can't. So what we do is try to show you what this means to be who you are today, and that is just as beautiful. It's just a different packaging, just a different packaging.
Love yourself in a different way.
Yeah.
Right now, we're all posting our scars, right? And I didn't have a mastectomy.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 lumpectomies, and my scar is very little and it's fading, but the scar is still there,
mm-hmm.
right? And I don't think it's right that Instagram is telling women who've had double mastectomies or mastectomies to take those photos down, right? I mean, there's something wrong with a man who looks at that and thinks it's sexual. Do you know the courage that it takes to take a photograph of yourself with, reconstructed boobs and no nipples?
And post it?
Yeah. And post it where you've still got scars and tissue and all these things. That is like the ultimate to say, I love myself. I am a warrior. It's not my breasts that make me as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So please, Instagram, please don't tell all these women who are doing this to take it down. We need to build this community, and we need to show, my God, you are beautiful and amazing and powerful, with boobs, without boobs, with scars, without nipples. This is our life. Mm-hmm. This is our life, and men are getting it as well at a rapid rate, and men are now posting their mastectomies, and they're not being asked to take it down. So it's nothing sexual. We're empowering each other to show that there is there's a certain stigma out there of what a woman should be. Can you imagine what we've all gone through when our breasts look different, right?
Oh, the whole body looks different. The whole body.
The whole body looks different. Tamoxifen, I mean, the weight gain, and I kept saying, I can't lose this weight. She's like, well, it's not the tamoxifen. Well, of course it's the tamoxifen. I mean, I wish doctors would just, I love doctors. We need them. Their wisdom's incredible. But you know what? Stop lying. You know what the statistics are. You know what the outcome of drugs are. Be honest with your patient. Be honest, right?
So, as we start to kind of come down to this time now, Dana, where we're going to have to sign off, I do want to say a few things. And I know, I'm sorry. I want to,
sorry.
No, you're the best. And everyone loves you. And everyone's like, no, I'm metastatic. We want to talk to you. Like, you're going to have a bunch of new friends here.
Then we can make a song.
The thing that I take away from you is that live your life, make choices that feel right to you. Don't just take the one choice that's handed to you on a platter. Make informed decisions based on how your soul feels. Live, dance, have a good time, have a shit day, take care of yourself, tell people that you need care, and don't apologize for it. Because you know what? I just watched the other day, you're going to laugh at me, but I watched on Netflix, the Helen Reddy story, I Am Woman, and I could not stop. I was like, I am woman, hear me roar. And I'm like, that is it. That song needs to make a comeback.
It does. We could just sing it together.
If I could sing.
And everything you said is absolutely true. Here's the thing. I think once you know the truth, we all know the truth.
Yes,
we do.
Yes.
You know your truth. It is so right here. It's so right here. And we ignore it every day until one day it hits you over the head, and it's with cancer or whatever. You know the truth. Like, is your marriage over? Sorry to use that. I said to a friend recently, you know the truth. You have two choices. You stand in the truth or you ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're always right back to where you were. If you know the truth, it takes courage to walk in that line of truth, right? So that's your truth. That's to know your truth.
Yeah.
So I've said to my doctors, no matter where this spreads, my truth for right now is I won't do your drugs, no matter where it spreads. My soul, if I've come here to do what this soul needs to do, I will move on. I will move on. And that's my truth.
Yeah. Speak your truth. Speak your truth. I am woman. Hear me roar.
Roar.
Everybody, I want you to go and watch the Helen Reddy story because people forget. The millennials, the younger generation forget. They need to know. Like, I'm like, whoa, like I forgot what she did for Women's Lib. Unbelievable. She was amazing. So
she did a lot of stuff for Women's Lib.
Yeah, go look at her story. I'm telling you, she fought the system because she was in the era of, come on, little housewife, just, you're a little angry. Like the record producer said to her, I am woman, hear me roar, sounded a little angry. What does your husband think of it? So, I mean, she was getting paid like half of what the band members were getting paid. Unbelievable. It's a cute little Netflix. I binge on Netflix all the time. So Helen Reddy's story, I Am Woman. Everybody play it. Get yourself jacked up for the day. Dana, we love you. Thank you. The community loves you. Everyone's sending you hearts and flowers. They will wrap back around. If you can, jump in and leave your information or your information to answer them. And we're going to bring the community back in around again. I'm sure we're going to have exciting things as we head into spring. And we can't thank you enough.
You're doing amazing, amazing things. I can't thank you both enough. And if you guys don't know it, they're just beautiful, beautiful women. They are just pure from their souls. They are. And they're funny and a little nasty too sometimes.
Yeah, we have to keep it together. We have to keep it together when we're out. I know. I haven't gotten quite to the exact speak the truth yet because I am off the rails. So, but those who've done Beautiful Self know I'm off the rails when we get in it together. So yeah, they're good. Yes, she is. Anyway, Michelle, any last before we say goodbye?
I do want to share with the community. Yes, this is going to be in this Facebook post right here, but we also posted on YouTube, and we have a SoundCloud if you just want to listen to Dana's wisdom over and over and over again. And those links will be posted also. So
Awesome.
I love you.
Thank you. We love you. Thank you so much, Dana. We'll wrap back. Mwah. Big kisses.
Mwah.
Love you.
Love
Bye,
you,
all.
community.
Take care.
Bye.